Hey everyone, how you doing today? Thought I would start working on this starter CV over here again, and I did do some more work to it since the last video. I did say I was going to do that, but I'll get to that in a second. But there was an update to the game here, and just wanted to make mention of that here in a minute. You might see some waves coming in on the shore here. I'm even in creative right now, so nothing special. But yeah, look at that. We've got some water waves. I kind of like that. And let me hop in this hover vessel here a minute, and you can see what's going on here. We've got a wake behind the vehicle here. And that is pretty cool. Now it's not dealing with like waves, so you're not gonna be bouncing over waves or anything like that. It's I would say a work in progress, but it's definitely a step in the right direction. That looks pretty good. That not too bad. I'm glad to see it. Beyond that, there is some improvements and some other things, and especially with planet creation and different kinds of foliage and things like that in the game now too. So I don't know much about that. I'm in obviously in creative world that has not been rebuilt or updated since this update came through. But just want to kind of make mention of that and that some things are getting done and water's looking better than ever so far. I mean, yeah, can't complain about that. Well, anyway, getting busy on here. Let me just show you the updates I did do, and then I'll get cracking on probably working out this area with the rest of it. Last video, I kind of worked out the generic walls and blocks and placement of parts and things like that in here. This video, I kind of wanted to start skinning and texturing in it and see if I can get this area looking close to finished. Going through the rest of this starter CV here, I did work out this front area with the farms with same idea as what I did with the hangar, kind of block works, some of the part placements, although I didn't throw in passenger seats and some other decorative things yet, kind of laying out where I'm going to put the grow lights for the farms, things like that. So this is kind of what the bridge is looking like. It does have a drone hatch here as well. And I ended up making a raised platform because directly below that is the shield in the ship, and I needed to have a fake floor, or I wouldn't say fake, but a floor over that, so you didn't have a big gaping hole on this floor. So I just kind of raised up this whole area, which actually helps too with the elevator. So when you go out to the rear landing pad, it's a straight shot now rather than coming here and then going down to this level and then walking across. Just a little bit more convenient, a little quicker to the point. So overall, if you're familiar with some of the other starter CVs I did, this has a very similar interior layout, basically, where you got a central elevator, you got a hangar, and then you got two floors on the front of it. One being where the bridge and the farms are, and the other kind of walking straight through here, which is not done yet at all. I was kind of working out like where I'm going to put CPU blocks and stuff, but kind of an engineering area. Um, and yeah, I'll have to keep on working on that. But for now, what I want to do is get cracking on the inside of this hangar here. So what I do need right now is a color palette. I have not shifted the color palette over, and the only creation I have using this color palette at the time is the Supremacy. So I'm going to need to spawn that a minute so I can steal its color palette. It's a little bit bigger than the starter ship that I'm building, that's for sure. So let me get over here. Let me get out the color tool. I'll right click on that. I will go to configure. I'm going to hold down shift. I'm going to leave that box there. When I hit shift and click on the bottom right, it selects everything. I will hit copy once that's done, and then OK. Get out of here. I'll go over to this work in progress starter CV and hit configure. Do the same thing. Hold down shift, hit on the bottom right, and hit paste. And now we have moved that color palette over to here. It's kind of important so I can basically match the colors used between the two ships, since they're going to be kind of following the same theme. All right, so in the hangar, let's start with the easiest thing first, and that is probably the flooring. So what I'm kind of wanting to do right now is figure out where I'm going to have my little decal lines and things like that, and it kind of narrows up in this front section here. So I'm kind of watching that right now, and I'm thinking what I want to do is let's start here. So what I'm going to do for the flooring on this is the floor color I was using in this particular faction. Right here. So I'm going to grab some of these, and these are going to be basically a signal of where the lines are going to go. The lines will flow right through the center of this. Now I'd like to go to that wall there, but that's a little too far in. So I want to establish a corner, and I've been using that for the corner, and I usually like these right next to the corner, so I kind of put that in the wrong place already. And then in between there, I usually like to go 2 to 3 squares before I put in another one of these. And basically I'm making a trim ring out of textures. And should I turn on symmetry for this? I probably should. It would save some time. I think it should line up okay. So I will get symmetry rolling, and let's start over here again, and we'll place that. Oops. As I do it wrong. That piece there, and one of these here. We'll put a corner one there, making sure everything's lining up okay. 2 of these, 2 of these, 2 of these, and so on. Up to that point looks pretty good. How's that? Okay, I'll probably end up changing it over by the medical area. And let's just fill the center in with 3 of those. 2, 1. Okay, that should work out. Put another one of those there. Temporarily put those there, and some more of these little corner things here. Okay, so that's our outer trim ring almost, except for that one. All right, so the inside here. What I usually will do, same color on this one, is I'll go to this texture now, and I'll just kind of do a mass fill along this inner border here. Then I would like to get some increased detail or things going on in the rest of the floor. Now, of course, we could just fill this all in, which I'll most likely end up doing anyway. But let's try to get one other level of something going on here. It's not very wide, and that is the biggest thing I'm having trouble with. But I'm going to kind of make this, use a couple of these. And I'm going to try to center them kind of around where the repair bay is. So we got 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Is that where I'd want it? That's off by 1. Okay, how about here? Alright, and I think I'll just throw in a little bit more of these here then, but without the texture lights this time. And probably should wrap these or have these all go all the way up front here too. So let's add another 3. No, 3's not going to work. I want that 1 square there. Okay, 1 there. Let's get rid of these then. Okay, so that's a little something. One last thing. Let's also run over into a little bit of this texture here. I'll make kind of a little seam border that goes across through the center there and on the other side. And then these outer areas here. I think what I'm going to do is I'll see if this sticks or not, but I'm going to tone it up by 1 shade over here. And then I'll spray it in with this flat metal texture for now. I have to clean this up and have to do it different on each side here. I'll try to get underneath this stuff too as we're going, or anything that could be visible, as well as in those areas here. around the back for now. Okay, so now cleanup time, so I got to turn symmetry off for this. First thing I'm going to do is take some of these textures and rotate them so they're facing this direction, if possible. These squiggly things I'm going to get rid of entirely and fill those in with the alternative flat texture. And just kind of monitor every texture as an individual thing. But I might change some of the flooring around the med area. Let's see, let's take a look here. I'll get rid of these three and just leave that little bit of gap between the pieces of metal there. Get rid of that one and rotate this one. Okay, so we might as well paint this dark too. Now that's going to go away before I actually release the ship anyway. It's not going to have the repair bay stock. Okay, so that's the first two steps of this. The next step is to go over to symbols, and you got to clear out your color if you're using this color tool like I am. Now you can use a separate texture and color tool for this too, which I used to do. I'm just trying to save space on the toolbar down there. So basically, I'm just kind of making a real simple line going around the hangar space here. Could have probably done this in symmetry, but it's not going to save much time in this case because it will typically rotate some of these corners the wrong way on one side or the other. And then we got to look for misalignments too, like this one over here is misaligned. So I'll go back into textures and fix that up. Alright, so let's try to add in a couple of the little thingies here, maybe a couple of these. Again, a narrow hangar, I usually would have these separated more, but maybe something like that there. And we could, you know, maybe put a little something around where the repair bay would go to. Maybe something like that. Don't necessarily need to fill these ends in, or let's try an alternative piece, maybe something like that. Yeah, okay. Alright, so we have a floor. That was probably the easiest part. I used to really dread the floors. I was really scared of them, and then I just kind of came up with this system that I sort of do on most builds now. And I really don't have to think about it at all when I'm doing it, so it just goes faster. Alright, so color scheme inside of here. Let's start out with the bottom row. I don't necessarily want a striped pattern like, you know, one shade, one shade, one shade, but in some areas like here, I think it would work out pretty good. And this faction definitely uses like darks and lights, and we'll mix them up quite a bit. So we're gonna go with light, and I'm going to pick. This is my in this faction. This is the base color. This is a tone down. This is a tone up from that. That's why I've got the three here. Some textures need to be painted in this shade, others in this shade, others in this shade, so they blend together to all achieve this shade. So let's get to the base texture, which is, on this faction is actually this. So I'm going to spray up a bunch of this right now, kind of going around this. I'm just kind of avoiding that line right there. And this is very generic right now, without adding in other textures or even cleaning up these textures. Again, maybe I probably ought to do the med base separately though, so that's because I do want to texture that a little differently than the rest of the room. And often, yes, you can remove these things. Actually, probably ought to just take out this console here and also this repair bay, since again they're not going to be stock on the ship. Just an add-on part that you can put in later. Okay, that seems pretty simple so far. Let's try to get formation of texture lights in here. The texture light texture, this is one of them. I think I'll use that for this application here. I will use different texture lights across the ship, but what what I want to do is try to put them in some kind of formation. I don't want like a whole row right next to each other. I kind of want to spread them apart by a certain number of blocks. Maybe I could align those to where these are by putting one there and here. Yeah, something like that. Then we got to get a top trim on here. I'll do this pretty generically right now. Almost. We'll put like this in there because it fits well. And I might as well spray up these two. And then over the tops of these other parts, maybe I'll mix that up and go with that. Or that. Let's try that. I'm trying to be a little funky here. All right. And then this row here, I'm going to subtly diverge right over to dark. Pretty much the same shade that I'm using for the floor. But now this dark does not work with the base texture. If I use the same texture I used down there, you get these very distinct white lines, which I do not want on the dark. So I will switch the material probably to this smoother metal, which does not have that problem. Spray up a lot of these here, and I'll just go right across in this case. Now I'm going to try to align some of these and get rid of exceptional jaggy edges like what you see here. I kind of want them just either square, or in rare cases I'll keep one of the angled ones if it happens to fit polygons correctly. And then I want to clean up some of this base material too. So I got to go one step up in color, and then the smooth metal here, and I'll clean up some of the jaggy edges on here. Of course, I want to keep some of it. If it doesn't make sense where there's lines, I will remove them. Or better yet, even a better case is to replace them with something else. Maybe if I pop that in there, but you see the tone difference there. So I got to go up one notch on this to make that work. Okay, so that's pretty simple so far here. Let's hit this next row. All right, well, I'll tell you what. Let's start over here with the generators. And I think I have those mirrored image on both sides. So good time to turn symmetry on again to save a little bit of time. And I think I'll go black here as well. And this is basically where an optional generator could be placed after the fact. We could go run with that texture for now, I guess. Okay, so we got some weird piping things over here. Probably ought to find a different texture for that. Maybe a couple of those. And let's put something in on the insides of those. I usually like to use this because you're not going to see any of the grading. You're just going to see the border around the grading mostly here. That's not... Yeah, there's not much there actually, is there? Okay, get that one. But this row I kind of actually want to be a lighter shade again. So I'm gonna go back to our base metal, or base color I mean, and it's fairly boring. Let's mix this up a little bit. What could we put here that's uniform on both sides? Maybe a couple of those just to do it up a little bit different. Okay, and let's spray this middle one here with just a base. Nah, that should have something a little more high-tech in here, I think. Yeah, fits pretty good. Although that's white. Maybe I should have done these other things in the lighter color too. Let me just swap the color on those like that, and we'll keep these the color they are now. All right, so around the edge here, not sure what I want to do with this yet. Want it to look technical with more textures on it. So it's just a little bit more variety there. Alright, I'll spray that in pretty flat there too. Okay, so now this thing over here. Now, should I keep this? I think I should keep this white. That is something that, yeah, on the ceiling too, I kind of want to do the same idea. Have like a light area and a dark area on the ceiling to really give it some contrast. So I'm thinking the dark area would make more sense on the inset pieces, and then the lower area would be white beams. So what? Just kind of generically spray this up right now across here and on the insides, and maybe get a little bit of something on some of these pieces. Okay. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna go with a little bit different texture on the corners here. And let's fix up some of these, and then we got to do this inside wall here. So I'm just thinking of potential textures that could go there that would work and not have something that's really lit like that. Or, you know what, this maybe I'm going to try to go white with this. I'm going to try to keep this just lit. Just want to find a texture. Yeah, this texture I used quite a bit on the Supremacy, as it kind of lines up pretty good to a half block, and a little bit. I like the textures to align. I really do. It's one of my biggest things. So yeah, often I'll do this kind of same kind of thing here. Although I'm repeating this particular texture quite a bit. It should hopefully look all right in the end. Okay. So let's spray up some of the white here. Again, I want to get some texture lights in here. So let's put in maybe a... Oh, I didn't want that center one like that. Let's put in a big vent like that there. And let's go with our base material and base color. And just spray up a lot of this right now. Oh, I didn't do this section over here yet. Alright. Get rid of some of the jaggy line thingies. I'll have to go over this again a little bit with finer detail on textures. Maybe try to get a little bit more variety into it as well. I'm a little troubled with this area because of the blocks I'm using on the ceiling. I can't paste this row separate from that row, but that might not be a big deal. Alright, so go back over to a little bit more of this, and get some of these edges in there. Just kind of like looking at each one I paint to make sure it's not like flip backwards or something, because that's a distinct possibility that could happen, and I might have to flip some blocks in the process. And then you got to watch the cargo extensions too, because they don't contain this particular texture. Alright, how about some more texture lights? A couple of those there, and I got this block flipped backwards, so let me replace that block. Take a wild stabbing guess if I got it right or not here. Can only go one way or the other, so nope, that's 180 off. Swap that around, and now I can paint that. That's all I wanted to do. And how about some vents? A couple little venty things there. And how about just some smooth on the inside portions of this. Alright, and then I want to clean up this. So I'm going to turn symmetry back off again and get rid of some of the jaggy lines that are sticking out, and maybe try to replace some of them with something else too. Maybe a little of that. Oops, wrong shade. Oh, I did the bottom ones in the wrong shade too, didn't I? No, I kind of want those that color. Okay. And let's see, more jaggy lines. So sometimes I'll just try to like rotate what's there already too, so it kind of goes, all these are angled at the same direction. See, like this here, it bugs me a little bit because there's like kind of a panel, and if I could complete that panel, I'd be totally happy with it. But since only half of it is there, it usually bothers me until we're all blotted out, like that. See, that works. This again over here, not so great, but I'm gonna want to get some. I want to keep some detail in these areas, though. I want to get some kind of textures rolling there. Just nothing is a little bit too boring. Maybe a couple vents on the ceiling there. Oh, something both misaligned. Okay, that way they kind of work. Other than that, I can rotate the block, of course, too. Okay, those are the ones I just got rid of. It's kind of why this particular faction ends up taking longer to texture, I think, than some of the other ones that I've done in the past, is because of all this little nitpicky stuff. In fact, you know what I think would look really good on the front hanger is a couple of these big lights. I'm very sparing with this. These are big. They're highly noticeable. I don't want to overdo them. But getting a couple in places can really make things look a little bit prettier. Alright, so the pipes, I'm going to go dark again on these. I guess for now I'll run that texture. It doesn't have to be that texture, though. Alright, and then last but not least, I love these little indented texture lights here. So I'm going to actually use that texture on the inside of there and then rotate it so it kind of has that symmetrical formation going on. That is a nice thing about using these particular deco blocks, is you can paint that inside and make it look like something. Maybe put a little something over that. There's not much that fits over the edge of this wonderfully. There are different options, of course, but most of them are going to kind of look a little wonky. But in the right case, it can look good. But for now, I'll just kind of go plain and boring, I guess. There, get those in there, and let's put some trimmy things on the edges of this. All right. So this part here on the front, I want this kind of blacked out over along here. This is going to be behind the constructors. So I think for now what I'm going to do is maybe just kind of run some kind of, I don't know, maybe I'll do it in this direction. A couple of those on the bottom. Oops. And I do a lot of flying through parts. I find it with CVs it's not too hard to do. It's pretty quick. It's probably quicker than removing the parts and painting around them in some cases. On SVs and HVs, not so much. They're smaller, and it's really hard to get in the right position on those to do those kinds of things. But CV or the big blocks, not too bad. I also want the surface of the front of these dark because of the LCDs that will go over these. I'll have to figure out where I'm going to place those LCDs yet, too. Again, I just don't like squiggly line problems too much. Because all that's dark, the sides of these should also be dark. And likewise the insides of those. Probably this here too. But let's try to put something else there. Ooh. Could work. Well, try it for now. I dare say I do have symmetry off when I probably should have had it on this part here. Let's get rid of that one too and just keep that middle edge there. And this surface is pretty plain right here. I'm going to try the base textures, see how that pans out. See, I like this side, don't like that side. So let's find an alternative. Some technical something or other. And some little stuff in the middle here. This is obvious. This typically always works, but how about on the bottom we get a couple more lights. I might tone down the texture lights. Sometimes I'll do a little bit too much texture lights, and then I'll back them off a little bit if it just doesn't feel right. Like there's too many of them going on. All right, so we got this little formation in the ceiling here. I want it to look neat somehow. Just trying to see how these things are going to align. Not so good that way. I could rotate it that way if we want some lights and stuff on it. How does that go in the corner though? Yeah, it's going to be one of those weird things, kind of play it by sight, figuring out what kind of lines up on that block and how the lines work to kind of make it look like a thing. Like that there, yeah, I kind of like how the lines are right on the creases of the block there, so I'll probably go with that. And not sure about this one though. See what other choices do we've got. We've got that. It's not so bad. Doesn't necessarily need to have a texture light here, but sometimes these can look good too, especially when they're cast in the white or the light shade. Then you got that distinctness between the light and dark. I kind of like that actually. Let's try it there for now. Everything's always subject to change though. It depends how it's going to come together at the end. And I'll put some of that there and clean up the inside with the blocks that just don't work with the lines. Here, I'm thinking in this case, around this area, I should actually do those in dark. Ooh, it's gonna be, see, I got another alignment issue. I like this. I like where you got the white and then you got the dark on the other side, and it kind of goes, here's to the angle. And of course, when I go on this side, it's not doing that. Or at least on one block. No, it is doing that. I just did it wrong. Okay, never mind. I got them rotated. Other than that, it was fixable. It's just I thought I had to rotate the block in that case, but actually it didn't seem like I had to. Now, these are pretty plain right here. I actually sprayed them with the wrong shade too. It'd be neat to have a texture that could fit over this and look right, but I don't think there is anything. There's nothing really with a corner like cut out of the texture that would align well. This would be the closest, and it's really not going to work either. and I'm using that same thing next to the other part. This sort of can, and maybe I will go that way because you do get some kind of formation there. Something like that. Let's put something under here too. And this piece here should be something that stands out. Maybe a nice square piece like that. I'll back the corners up with some of this. Nah, let's make it look like it's exhausting. Like the light makes some heat, which is pretty typical actually. And put some little vent thingies there. Yeah, why not? All right, starting to come together. So just a review on the texture lights. I'm cool with most of them. So let's get a texture light here as well. That aligns with that piece. Let's put in this big one behind the two of these and spray this up with that. And the sides with this. Don't think you can see that particular side. Okay. And this little chunk here. What can we put behind here to look like something? How about a little light thing? Yeah, that fits well. Again, a lot of the textures I pick are from two things: how they, you know, if they got a white line problem, which would be, you know, I'll use them for lighter textures, and how they align to the actual polygons on the block. Those two biggest things. Oops, darn it. There we go. Just kind of getting the outside edges painted on that a little bit. Okay, so now we generically have a lot of this set up. I'll do a couple more fixes of stuff you don't see very well in the ceiling here. Let's try to rotate this one. Yeah, that lines up better. And rotate that so it's facing that direction. Same here. Did I do these already? Yeah, okay, so neither of those work. How about a little something over on the corners here? Just kind of exploring options right now. Don't exactly have this texturing to like an exact science. To I realize that if you kind of play it by sight, you're gonna probably have a better effect at the end. And yeah, I guess maybe spraying those dark there would probably fit a little bit better. Just rotate you, and then make sure we do the same thing on the other side. Oops, darn it. Something like that. Alright, repair bay. Let's make you a little prettier inside here. I guess just not too much, so let's do some dark. Could probably just repeat that same texture around so you got a nice little line there, and spray the bottom with something. Maybe that'll work. In the end, what I'll do is put one of these over the top of that, like that. And then I'll have to get a thing in there saying R for repair bay, and probably C for console over on this wall. Okay, so now the medical area. I want this to obviously stand out from the rest of it a little bit brighter colors, but I want to also get the darks across this wall. So I'm thinking over here. We'll start there. And should I go straight across there or not? Maybe. rid of some of the wacky lines. Okay, that's not too bad. How did I do the other side up here? I didn't yet. Okay. Try to go light here again. So, how would this work out? See, those do fit pretty well. But I don't want to overdo it. So what I don't like is the inside. I can deal with the outside piece, but this repeating pattern here looks a little suspicious to me. So I'm going to scrap all of those lights, and we're going to go with this instead, I think. So I don't have to contend to it. And this fits over those kind of edges pretty good. So you got one texture and kind of like another texture there that doesn't stand out as much as the texture lights there. And we got all this little stuff to fill in here too, all around the cargo extensions. Oh, we don't have that one texture for this. Let's do that instead. But I believe that one has to be painted darker. Still looks like it's standing out. Okay, so we got our fuel tanks here. Gonna have to go back to a texture that has like a line down the middle on this one, so I can get those things to line up. I'll try this again. Oh, I didn't expect it to spray the whole thing at once. I thought I was gonna have to spray each side differently. I don't think it'll matter though, but I don't know if I can get on board with that or not. Let's see. Let's set my color to dark, light. It's a little too much. I've got that right over there and there. I feel like I'm repeating that texture too much. I want something that kind of works like this. Probably just go with that for now. I'll maybe on the final detail process, I'll try to see if there's a alt texture that could fix that up a little bit. This is really generic here as well. Trying to get on the top side of that and under the fuel tank. And I don't think this side has the same thing going on. Nope. Okay, this row here, this beam, I think I'm going to switch this over to this texture as well. Probably should have done that when I was doing the other rows. I guess I only missed that one part of it. Okay. Now around the hangar door, I do have two place lights here. Let's back that up with something to accent them. I normally end up going with this. There's not many options really. I don't want the light to be like right under the light, but just kind of give it something going, something to look at there. I don't want to use that because I just used it on that texture. Nah. About. Nah. Nah, this shouldn't have a texture light on it. Just wanted to find an alternative texture to put there that doesn't stand out too much, but I'm trying to just not use the same textures. I guess I could go with the stock there for now. And then these need to be uptoned to match that. Okay. Alright, right, back to this. So we've got a pretty solid trim edge that goes all around here, and I'm wondering if I should experiment and try to go black and then white on the inside. I'm not sure if that'll work or not very well, but clean that up. Okay, so you need to be nice and bright. It's gonna get a little squirrely painting these behind here. You got to get kind of dig in, like right into the part to texture the outside. Now that's repeating, but it kind of looks, because there's pieces laid over each one of those, I don't mind that. Let's try to get something a little bit different about the shower. And let's see the base row. Don't really want to put like any kind of displays or anything, because these are hanging down in front of it. It would kind of be wouldn't do very well, I don't think. Pretty bright again. Okay, so with my flashlight off, looks about like this right now. Didn't do this part. Or that part there. So this be dark or light? That is the question. I think let's go with the same theme. Let's try to do the edges dark. Weird something in the corner. And I'll do that with the inside as well. Oops. And across the top. Or is that too much dark? Nah, I think in this case it works. But all these pieces will be light. Alright, so we've got that. Let's get something in here. Yeah. Something like that. Switch over to this. Try to get some kind of... I hate it when I get the wrong ones. You know, it's kind of like random luck of the draw on what texture you get when you spray a block in a certain position. It's nice when you get the one you want, but it doesn't happen every time. How about a vent or something there? And then let's try something different down here too. That looks like it fits that armor locker quite well. Yeah, actually, that's a nice backing piece for an armor locker. Okay, cool with that. This might be a little bit too much, so maybe another one of those there. And then to match that on the other side, I can do it in that position, but that's about it. Okay, spray up down in here. Probably do this with generic metal, if I can get to them. In this case, those just do not want to spray. Oh, there we go. Okay. And that would have been right here, actually. That's kind of the angle I wanted there. Alright. Top trim row. I think this could use some more dark. At least on the edge. Try to rotate those a little bit. And... Alright, and the front row here, maybe some more of that. Yeah, I'm gonna change the color of those two pieces there, I think. Oh, I got the repeating texture there too. That's not good. And let's back this this thing by with something. It's a lot of high density of texture lights. Thinking that I probably ought to remove these over here, but I don't want to use that texture with it. How about something just totally different? Maybe. And this is our doorway here. Ooh, it's gonna paint that surface the same as the rest of it. Don't really want that. Okay, that's a little bit too much. Okay, so I want to cover up that top surface. That's really easy to do in this case. We'll put a little block there and wrap that up. Trying to see if I missed stuff. Probably did. Oh yeah, these generators, the main generators here. I didn't do this yet. Put the flooring in, and I think I'll just do that with like regular floor texture. Get the inside here. I do that in dark. I did do that in dark. Okay. Oh, and you're not gonna work. Okay, let's do that for you. Can't really see what I'm doing here. This would be one of those cases where removing the part would probably be helpful. Ceiling white in the corner, okay. And then these pieces here, well, one of those and one of those. I probably ought to make that a standard for all of these. Floor here. This is a little different over here. So I'll do it before I forget about it. And the darkness behind here, a little bit visible. That just, to me, it was stuck out. Like, I should paint that to match that in this case, just because, I don't know, it just seemed like it should be that color instead. If we did the cargo boxes a little bit different, and in that case, maybe also spray these blocks a little bit different. Oh, and this back area here too, missing that. Again, a lot of this stuff you're not really going to see, and I did a tone different on this as well, just to see how that would look. I don't think I should do that on the walls. And that probably should be dark then too, shouldn't it? Yes. Alright, so let's give this a little bit of a light test right now. So here's what we're looking like at night. Okay, I got to work on the brightness in things in here. It is dark. It is quite dark right now. So let's take a look at our medical light. Oops. Why am I... Wait a minute, what did I do wrong here? Did I not select that? Oh, there it is. Okay. Angle radius, let's adjust that up a little bit. Intensity, I don't really want to go to 3, but I'll take a look at it just to see how that works out for now. It does make a lot of light there, doesn't it? Nah, let's dial that. If we keep the brightness up but lower down the range of it, just see if that does anything. Not really. Let's get back to that. Okay, so lighting in the back of the hangar. Got these 2 lights here, which are way in the back. I'm wondering if that is not a good location for these. In fact, I'm going to try something different. I'm going to get rid of those. I don't want to run too many lights in the area. It would be nice if I could just throw in like a light every place I wanted to light something up, but I usually try to be quite sparing with the lights, enough to make it look good, but not too much. You can get some performance issues then. So one thing I kind of wanted to see, and I think it would look good, is if I have to get the right distance. I'll use one of these angled lights, and I want to light up like the center part of that hangar door, and of course be able to control where that light is. But you want to get the right distance here too. So, and okay, so let's modify the settings on this light. Dial you back in, increase your range, lower down your angle, so I can light that hangar door up. Okay, I'm alright with that. Let's tone it down just a little bit more, try to get a bit more shadows on here. Alright, that part's okay. So this light on the ceiling here, I really didn't want it to be on unless the repair bay was on, but I can't put the repair bay in stock. Or the switching for that, so that part kind of sucks. But I'm gonna lower down the intensity and increase its spotlight angle a little bit, just to give it that little bit of orangey feel right there. Okay, so the rest of this room here, we got this light here, I believe is our ambient light. Yep, this is just kind of a generic light set to the a little bit cooler tone. Maximum range intensity of 1. Spotlight angle doesn't matter on that light because it's not a spotlight. Okay, this light here is important. The front light. This needs to light up this section, make it stand out. So I'm already running the brightness I kind of wanted to run. Let's jump up the angle some. Actually, make this a pretty big angle on this light. So we're quite lit on the back. We've got a obvious shadow running through this section here in between the other 2 lights, just kind of making me think I probably ought to ditch the idea of this this repair bay light. It's not really doing anything worthwhile in this case, since I can't keep that in their stock anyway. So I'm gonna change this. Let's try to go with a gray instead of the regular, and I'm gonna seriously drive this spotlight angle up a lot, which will illuminate the center portion of the hangar better, but you still have a shadow line, which I like. I want to see shadows. Shadows to me make things look a little more realistic, because that's typically what you see in the real world. This wall is heavily generic over here too, so just notice it's bugging me now. So let's try to do something with the wall. What can be done with this wall? Can I make it into a thing? Oh, and I didn't really texture the top of that either. What what kind of blocks are we looking at here? Are these full blocks on the outside? Yeah, they are all full blocks, aren't they? Okay, so this is hull stuff, so steel is being used here. Ooh, not completely full blocks on the outer edge. Nope, no, that's a door. Okay. I'm trying to think right now if there's some kind of block formation or something I can put here to make it look like there's something there, but it needs to be solid on the other side. It needs to be a solid wall. And maybe I can pull that off with some weird roundy things. And actually, let's do that and rotate these down like that. So now that's a thing. Again, don't ask me what these things are. They're just things. They're detail things. They're I don't know what this is, but maybe it's some kind of futuristic part that none of us understand. I like this black row here, but I don't like the texture light there. What other texture can do the straight line like that and not try to illuminate it though? This is going to reverse on me, so it's got to be the same on both sides. So there's only a couple textures that actually work with that. This one would. I typically don't use that texture much, but in this case, that doesn't look too bad. At least it lines up, right? And can we do anything here? A couple of those. You know, we could also darken this. Let's go with a mid-tone. And God, what do we put here? Something like that. And I don't know. No. Now this would be dark here too, I think. Okay, on the inside of that and the trim. So almost like first level of getting the hangar area done. The final detail is basically just looking over everything, trying to, you know, if you like the same thing over here. I noticed the wall is kind of plain. I wanted to do something with it. This might be part of like what I would consider the final detail. A lot of times on larger creations, I will go over the room fairly quickly the first run, so I can get more to show. Feel like I'm accomplishing more in a shorter period of time, and then later on, when you walk through the room later on, kind of look at that and think, yeah, maybe I should do something there, you know. How about a vent there and yeah, not a, oh, that's a welcome panel, and I don't know, maybe something like that lines up to that. All right, so let's try to get a little more decals in here yet. Maybe something to back up around the medical area on the inside wall. I can't see what I'm doing. All right, there. Is that right? Okay. And come on, spread. Am I changing the color? Oh, I'm changing the color here. I'll have to reset that. Oops, you gotta turn up. I think that's it. Alright. And let's color match this again. Oops. Just happened there. Ah! Alright, that should have been this color. Oh, and I got rid of my decal. I see what I did. this case, it probably would have been a little easier if I just removed the medical equipment first. Again, it happens. Okay, so this light here, super bright on that surface, super bright. I would prefer to have a light like up on the top, but I can't fit any lights there. But what I want to do here is the only symbol I could find that remotely justifies like a medical shower, but you're not going to see that symbol because of the intense lighting on this block. So I'm wondering if I should go 180 on my shade and then probably rotate. I gotta get back here and rotate that. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm doing this right. Maybe I should have two tools, maybe one set aside just to do decals. Might be a little quicker. Inside of this area too, let's make this look a little more funky. With this race too, I'm not using too much in colored lights at all. It's very white and dark. So what I'm looking for is something I can put on these walls to make it, I don't know, look kind of neat. Along the shower, something like that. So maybe some kind of decontamination UV lighting or something. Okay, little odds and ends to go over some texture things that don't look super wonderful or too plain. And missed one here. And let's go try to get some of this across the top. See, in this case, those two actually line up, so I'm cool with that. Just didn't like it when you only get one side or the other though. Yeah, I don't like that there. So all right, well, I think I'll stop there on this video, and we'll just call this the first part of it. No, one last thing. This is going to be easy to do because I can do a copy paste very quickly. I'm going to go steal one of my LCDs here a minute. So I'm going to just touch somewhere in here, hit Control A on the keyboard to select all, then I hit Control C to copy that. I want to remember that this is a height of 2. Most important thing on this, height of 2, width of 1. Now, where to put an LCD? LCD screens. I could, in this case, no, I can't even do that, can I? Because of that. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of these for now. Ah, man. See, I can put these on a wall, and I can rotate it. There's some other options I can do. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But a lot of times they don't rotate right. Like if I start on this wall, here, let's try this. I'll put this in. We will fill it in with its text. I'll set the height to 2. And let's see, we want to rotate our Y. No, that's offset. Rotate, I meant. Rotate Y. X offset should push it that way. Okay. Get my orientation here. And we'll move you this way. Okay, I'm a little too far back. Modify you again. Since I didn't touch on another object, I can hit P again, change my view essentially without physically touching on the LCD I was just working on. It's very helpful, but it puts this right in front of your view every time, and this is huge problematic. you can get around it with enough playing around, but it is very hard to see what you're trying to do or align with these controls. I can't exactly tell if I'm lined up right or not right now. See, what you got going on now, you see that fluttery? It's because it's like when I rotate it, when I put the LCD on facing this direction and rotate it, kind of, I don't have it quite in the right position, but you can see what happens every time. And it destroys the LCD. So that is why it makes it even more hard to place these LCDs. Because not only that, you got to have it on the same direction that you want your LCD on, or it doesn't work right. That has been a problem for a while. So in this case, I'm thinking it'd probably be easiest if I just put them right here, obviously, because there's no playing around really at all with this. Let me paste that back in place. Set my height to 2, and then lower the Y position so it fits where it should. And then you can see everything works wonderfully. And I do want to change this. We'll call this storage bay 1. And I got a little smarter on these newer LCDs too, where I could set the storage bay a little easier. And if you can see, this is the number of it right at the very end, so I can just change that to a 1. And we'll do the same thing over here. And height of 2. Lower the Y to fit the ring over that, and set this to 2. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to hop into, I hit P on the ship, and I'm looking at devices. I'm going to auto group everything, and you have to auto group it before you can name these parts. So now I'm going to hit P on the actual controller, and I'm going to change the name of it to storage bay 1. And just for the heck of it, let's color it. So to color this, you have to use these 2 bracket keys here, which would be on kind of your parentheses, like that. And then we got to give it a hexadecimal color code. I don't know what color to really make it. Let's say we want to do these in blue. So I will say 00. That would be the red. 00 is green, and let's give it a I don't know, a bright blue for now. I'll probably change it. I'll figure out what colors I did on the other ship, probably repeat that. And EE, which is close to FF, this is hexadecimal, so it goes through 0 through F. F would be your highest, and it's 2 digits per. It's basically, if you translate these numbers, it's 255, 255, 255, red, green, blue. So by putting that little prefix in the actual name here, I'm going to copy this so I don't have to retype that. Let me set this one here real quick too. Container and storage bay 2. Okay, so then when I hit F4 and look at our storage bay, you see the blue. It's kind of a bright blue, storage bay 1 and 2. And that is how that is done. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. This is exactly how I work when I'm not like making videos and things like that. Of course, I'm not narrating it and stuff like that. But same idea. So I would say that this is not release quality yet. I would probably go through and try to enhance certain aspects of it. Get a little detail. Now, so, one element I did not do yet is put in any deco items. So none of the little screens or console thingies or whatever. I'll probably get some of that. And probably some little tweaks here and there on some of the texturing. I noticed this area here is kind of darkish. And probably adjust the lighting a little bit too before it's done. But you get the idea of it. And yeah, pretty close done. I'll probably add some more decals too, especially around where the generators are, stuff like that. Maybe just information things like I usually use T1 for generator because they're 3 blocks long and it fits well. And they used to call them like tier 1 generators or something like that. All right. Anyway, you all have yourself a good day. Hope you enjoyed this. And yeah, check out the game. I'm kind of curious on the new floral and other things that were added to the game. And some other things. The snowy trees and snowy mountaintops and stuff too is part of that. So you might see some things you haven't seen before if you fire up a new game. All right. Adios.